everybody.
Hi,
We start
Anu.
another session today at 9:30. I'm very excited for today's session. It's with Dr. Kwesi. Like I've told you before, he is an amazing person, somebody who talks from his heart, and very interesting. Also, somebody who's a walking around encyclopedia, according to me. And when he's talking, I all can pick up those valuable gems and actually collect it and connect it with our whatever we are doing right now. So today he's going to be talking on a very unique topic, which is 64 keys, and he's amazing with it. So to my friend Dr. Kwesi, he doesn't like me calling him Dr. Kwesi. So to my friend Kwesi, thank you so much, Kwesi, for being here again. And I think people are very excited. There are some Egyptians who also wanted to join today's workshop. We also have Helena from Finland who is already there in the participants. So I'm very excited, and lot of people from India. Thank you. And a request to all of you, please keep your mics mute. All of you, please mute your mics other than Dr. Kwesi. Thank you. And if you need to ask a question, just put up your hand and I will come back to you. Do not unmute your mic just like that because the voice quality goes down. So thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Kwesi, again. Please. Let's start.
Thank you, Dr. Anu, again for this wonderful and nice introduction. And I'm happy that I've been invited to share again. So thank you very much for this, Hannah. And yes, so today it's something completely different and nothing to do with mental health. And it is about something that has to do with discovering who we really are. And right now, in these challenging times where the whole world, 3 billion people on the planet are in lockdown and the major economies also are shut down, we've got the time. We've got so much time than we've never had in our lives before. And some countries have a complete lockdown, like you in India. Other countries, you're allowed to go out. And it's completely different, but we all have time. And this is now a time to gain awareness of what and who we are and to discover what's our mission here, why are we here? And especially to empower ourselves, because whatever comes after the lockdown is over, we don't know, but we know the world will never be the same again. And we will all be challenged to adapt to the new circumstances, however they're going to be. Some people might have lost their jobs. Some people have to start with their business from scratch again. Yes, so, and that's why I talked with Anu and I said now it's a very good opportunity to share this knowledge and this wisdom about 64 keys, and especially with India. And I need to share my screen. I hope it's working. So do you see my screen now?
Yes.
What do you see? Do you see the yellow with the
yellow with the blue
Blank. Yes.
Yeah, very good. So I want to start with India first, because I know we have got people from over the world. I saw somebody from Scotland, Shona, hi Shona, and some other people might come, but because you were the host and you Indians have organized this so wonderful, I want to start before we go into the 64 keys and what the 64 keys is about. I want to share what I have experienced in India. The first time I came to India was in 1991 or 92. That was when Mandela was released. I had a student friend from Mumbai and she got married to a German husband. And she invited all of us. So we all took, at that time, Pandem was still flying. We went from Frankfurt to Mumbai, and was the first time I came to India. And it was a complete different world. I've known Africa before. I was born in Germany. I've known North America before, but India was something completely, absolutely, completely different. I traveled around by my own later because I just wanted to explore myself. I even don't know how I did it at that time, but I went down to Kerala, which was very beautiful. And I even took the train back from Kerala up to Mumbai. And I was also walking alone around in Mumbai, what I wouldn't dare to do now. So it was absolutely fascinating. And since then, I'm fascinated about India. So when I met Anu the first time in 2011 in Estonia, I was fascinated because I said, wow, now we've got somebody from India in our community, and for sure, I'm going to India again. And why do I find India so fascinating? Because from my understanding, everything has a meaning. Everything has a purpose. And so also countries have got their mission for the whole world. And if you look back at the history, go to the left side here of our Earth, there is a theory that all planets were merged together. There were no continents, not planets, no continents. It was just one solid Earth, no continents. And then they split. And very interesting that India was somehow attached to Australia and Madagascar, and then drifted apart and collided with the Asian plate. And where it collided with the Asian plate, one moment, with the Asian plate, got a problem now, my connection is not working. What I wanted to show is I wanted to show the Himalaya, because where India collided on the Asian plate, here you've got the Himalaya. That was because it crashed against the Asian plate. And that means that the Himalaya, the highest mountain on the surface of the earth that we've got, is where heaven and earth come together. So they meet. And that's why India has got such a spiritual history.
So we can't hear you.
Okay, sorry. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, now we can hear you, Kwesi.
Okay, I don't know why it muted itself. I apologize. So I repeat again. When India drifted and collided with the Asian plate, that was when the Himalaya was created. The highest mountains that we have on the surface of our planet, and that is where heaven and earth meet. So it's like a marriage. And that's a very, very spiritual place, and also means a very spiritual country, this area of Nepal and India, Bhutan, where you've got the Himalaya, because that is where heaven and earth meet. And even if you look at the shape of India, you see that India looks like the os sacrum, the holy bone. And that is where the seat of the Kundalini is. And that means India has got a mission to share with the world about the spiritual power of the Kundalini and to awaken it for the whole planet. And that's, from my experience, how I see it and what I've read also from old scriptures, is why in India, this is what you are experiencing for 100 or even thousands of years. Because you are meant to train yourself and to overcome this challenge and to share with the world the power of the spirit. So I found that very interesting when I did some research and find out and said, wow, that is why India has got all these gurus, because that is what their mission is for our whole planet. Like any other country or continent has a mission, and that's India's mission. And what I'm going to share now with the 64 keys is going exactly in this direction. It is a system, we call it a matrix, and matrix is just a normal word, nothing like the film in the Matrix that it's evil. It's just a system, a matrix that gives us more about what and who we are. And it visualizes our hidden potentials, our talents, and also aspects of our personality. And I'm going to share my screen again. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Can I get a
Kwesi.
feedback? Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, so what is the 64 keys about? Well, it's a software, 64 keys, where you can calculate with the birth data, time, place, and country of birth and date, you can visualize your hidden talents. And that means you get better awareness, you can make better choices, and you get better results for your life in the areas that matter for you. It can be career, it can be partnership, it can be family connections or the work context. It can be in any aspect where you are interacting with other people or when you want to have inner awareness about yourself. And it's about doing the right thing for you right now at the moment. So it's like an operation manual for you to make better choices in your life. And I will just share with you also how I got to know about this. Yeah. So if you look at this picture, it's somehow like we are living in a bubble. And that's what we think is real, is reality. And you know the Indian word Maya, illusion. Yeah. And it's time, we've got everybody experiencing a time when you experience something where you say, is this real or what is this about? And you question everything that you have experienced and what you thought was real. And when you have this moment of this awakening, that is the point where you are starting to challenge the beliefs that you were brought up. And my journey began very, very early because I was born in Germany in the white majority system as a black kid. And what I heard how black people should be, or what I read in the German books, I knew it was not correct because they said, oh, they're inferior, this and this. And I knew, well, I'm better than most of them. I'm a very humble person. Yeah, I don't know that, but I knew that I was good at school, I was good at sports. So I said, what they're writing there, that black people are not good, can't be true. So from early beginning on, I started challenging what I heard. And that's also what I want you to keep now for the next 90 minutes. Everything I'm saying, challenge it. Be skeptical, because that shows intelligence. And confirm it, because this is an experiment. A man had a revelation in 1987, and he said he heard the voice of the earth, and the earth gave him information. He calculated that later, made a software, and out came this program. So you can say it's like a synthesis of astrology, of the chakra system, the Indian Hindu chakra system. Then we've got the tree of life, the Kabbalah, and most important, we've got the I Ching. So he got all this information, and he was a man from Montreal, an engineer who was not spiritual at all, and he didn't know what is this about. So he spoke to people, they connected him to a lady in the States who was a professor at university, who had a background with astrology, Kabbalah, anthropology, and then he could recite everything, they made the calculations, and then they found out, wow, this, what we are doing, is really showing what it's about. One moment, I am just showing you how it looks like, because when they made the calculation, what came out is a body graph with 9 energy centers. So this visualizes our blueprint, our genetic blueprint, and our, oh, now I've got the same thing like the man from the Bhagavad Gita, that something is drawing there and I don't know where it comes from, I apologize. So it shows our nature, something that was given when we were born, our potential, our talents. It visualizes in a different way than astrology. So you could say that 64 keys, which come from human design, is a further development of astrology, integrating other parts that give, deeper understanding of what and who we are. And before I want to go in detail, I want to share with you how I experienced it and what was my first encounter with it. So you know that I'm a mental health master trainer. That's where I also met Anu. And it must be in 2005 or 2006, I did my first training. And in that training was a master trainer from Germany. And she said, okay, guys, this is the training about mental health. And I'll also tell you something more, because it's important also that you know what and who you are. We were all saying, okay, yeah, we're open for that. And then she shared about the design. At that time, they called it Penta design. And I didn't understand anything. I didn't get one word. And then she looked at my design and she said, okay, Kwesi, I see something, I have to call you. I will give you an introduction for 2 hours. You don't have to pay anything, but it's important that you get this message. So she called me and she spoke to me 2 hours and I still didn't get anything. The only thing I got was, okay, it seems to be important. I didn't get it. And so, well, I have to wait till I get it. But what she also said is, you have to hear it 3 times before you can really start to begin to grasp it. So some of you have heard it before, and for some it's the first time. So I'm saying this because this stuff really needs time to embody, because it's a completely new way of thinking and a new way of seeing yourself in the world. So then I completely forgot about it. And then in 2012, I remembered why there was this design, and now I'm in a situation I want really to get some orientation in my life. I got it that it's about that. So I did research in the internet and I found out, okay, yeah, good, that's where I can do a training. And then I sent him an email and said, I want to get a book and I want to register for your training. That were Austrians. And then they said, oh, we are just in India, in Vakala on holidays, Christmas, but we'll send you the book when we are later back home. Then they sent me the book and then I started the training. And at that time I was married. I had my own private clinic in Berlin in a posh area. And after 3 to 6 months in the training, I asked myself, what are you doing? That's really not what you want, and that's not authentic. And also my partnership was not authentic anymore, my marriage. So experiencing, discovering what was hidden in me and where I was holding back and not fully unfolding my potential made me completely transform my life. I gave up the clinic. I separated in peace with my wife. And then I just started working locum and traveling the world. I've been to India 2 or 3 times and learning more about the 64 keys. And then I also met my new partner, whom I knew before with Mehta Health. So my life completely changed because of what it transformed, because of what I discovered for myself and said, now, I am now going forward. I'm not holding back anymore. I really want the one I'm meant to be. And sometimes it was shocking how I thought about myself and was holding back myself and even really didn't know that's not me what I'm doing. That's because of the conditioning, because other people expect that. Yeah. So that was on the one side shocking and on the other side amazing. And I'm telling you just in real honesty, because if you start this discovery, you are not aware of what you might discover and encounter. Yeah. And because it's a completely new way of seeing yourself. And the most beautiful that I experienced was in 2013 when I went to Sharm el-Sheikh, and where we had our conference. I took the flight from Vienna to Sharm el-Sheikh, and on the flight was the first time that I really felt also, because I was very much having conversations with myself and not feeling, that I really started to feel what and who I am. And it was so amazing that I had to start crying in the plane. And the lady sitting beside me thought, what is this? Such a grown man and he's afraid to fly and it's crying. So it was really amazing. And now I want to share with you what it is that I discovered, and I want to share it with some examples of people that might interest you. So we are going to have a look at the design of Modi, your president. We're going to have a look at the design of one of your spiritual leaders, Sadhguru. and we are going to have a look at design of two of the celebrity Bollywood stars, Mr. Singh and his partner. I've got them, I just can't remember the names, but I've got the designs. So, and with sharing about their design, you will get to know the basics, the fundamentals. Yeah, in this 90 minutes, what is possible is that I don't want to teach you something, I want to make you thirsty to explore and to discover about yourself. The good thing is that with this 64 key software, everybody who's got internet and an email address can go and get a basic account for free for 2 months. So you can go and
Thank you,
put
Dr.
in your own
Kwesi.
data and data from friends.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Oh, that's not from me. That's from the Austrians who created that. Yeah, because they said this key should be available for everybody for some time for free. And then they can make a choice. Do they want to go further or not? And I will give you the link at the end of the talk. So just relax. You don't need to write down anything, really. Just relax and just be receptive. You will get the email. You will get the link for the website and you can go and have a look at yourself. Yeah. So we'll have a look here before we go to your president. We'll have a look at Mr. Gandhi. You can still see my. I have to put this away. Okay. So I won't go into politics, not at all. This is just to show you what it is about. So you see there are 9 centers, and these are energy centers. And I know that there is a globally agreement that there are 7 chakras. And according to the information,
we can't see the screen. Sorry to
you
interrupt
can't
you.
see the screen. Okay,
No.
one moment. One moment. You can see it now? Can you see the screen now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. So I have to stop this. And now we go and have a look. We go straight to Modi because let's go through the living and we'll have a look. So it's similar like astrology. You just take the birth data. And let's start first with the spiritual aspect. So you just do the calculations and what comes out is this body graph. That's all you need to know at the beginning. And these are 9 energy centers because there was an evolution of the 7 chakras in 1781, that out of the 7 chakras, then 9 came out. So these are all energy centers and they've got a specific energy profile, how they are activating yourself, how you work with them. And what I want to share with you is that you can just see without knowing anything about Sadhguru what his life is about. Yeah, and I just want to share with you that this information is so precise. So these are the potentials, which we call from number 1 to number 64. They are potentials. And when potentials are connected, you get specializations that are 60, 36. So 64 and 36 makes 100. And now let's just have a look at the potential from Mr. Sadhguru. I hardly know anything about him, but what I can see is, because here in this area, that is the environment, yeah? And that is where he's focusing on an environment. So what he's focused on is transformation, yeah? He wants people to transform. And what he's teaching them are the basics of how they can get intuition, insight, you see here insight, and how they can get clarity. And he is teaching them the fundamentals because this is here a first line. So that's his mission, yeah, to teach people and or to inspire them so that they get clarity and insights so that they can transform. Yeah. So that's his mission. That's the environment where he wants to be and have an impact. And you can see that straight away without knowing anything about Sadhguru. And he's very, very good in spreading this, because if you look at his, we've got something what we call the pearl that has to do with the business context. Yeah. And you can just see when it comes to business, he's very good because he's market orientated. So he will market his spiritual business very, very well. So Anu, I hardly know, you just told me people would want to know about Sadhguru. I don't know anything about it. So how does that correlate what I just said?
In fact, it fits very well. His marketing is better than most of the people, because and he is definitely people's person. But it's not just about people's person. He is constantly on the media. He's constantly connecting. He's constantly there. So he's definitely doing his marketing in a different way than most of the people are. Brilliant.
Because here with this design, you get information first about yourself for your personal spiritual development.
Dr. Kwesi, Dr.
Yes?
Kwesi?
Can you hear me or not?
Yeah, I can hear you. This is Lata here.
Yes?
You know, for Sadhguru, this realization or action oriented shows at, what is this, 13%, 13 percentile? 13,
I will come into that. So
okay,
I know
because
you're
that
all
graph
curious. I know you're all curious to get everything. Yeah. And that's showing how intelligent and thirsty you are. And I already saw that you were looking here. Yeah, exactly, because this is the talent. Everyone from us has a talent. You will have all of them with some percentage, but one is where you have 100%. And that is your given talent by your birth. And that is, if you want to have an impact, then use your talent. There you will make the most difference in other people's life and in your own life. And for Sadhguru he's market orientated. That is his talent.
Okay, okay. Because I was just reading that and saying his action, or he's also known to be action oriented. So, and that seemed to be very, very low. So I was just wondering what that indicated.
Yes, because you will see that with this dissemination, that is one aspect where he's very, very good. And when it means here only 13%, it doesn't mean that he can't do it. But where he has the most impact is market orientated. Yeah.
Okay.
That's his talent. And each one of us, there are 6 talents. You can see them here. And that's his talent. We will later have a look at your President Modi and have a look what is his talent. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that this doesn't work, but this works the best. And if this works best, then this one also works good. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, and straight away you can see a person, you can calculate the design, and straight away you can see what's the talent of the person. Straight away, without asking the person one question. And you don't need to get an astrologer or somebody to analyze it for you, because it's there, it's written there. And that's the beauty with the 64 keys, because it's a self-experiment. You can learn everything by yourself, and you don't need to have such a deep understanding of astrology or other complex things, which might be very intensive for learning, because this you get all written in a very, very simple, easy way. It's been visualized, and that's the beauty. Yeah, because you just saw it straight away, and you could say, oh, but why is it only 13%? Yeah, and that's the beauty. It's when you once have the principles, and you've got 2 months time to experiment with it, you will be very impressed how easy and how clear it is then showing what people have for talents, what for potentials, and also what for character traits. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I wanted to show you.
Yes, I'll be patient. Thank you.
No, that's good. That's good. Oh, you have to ask Anu how I was when I was in the courses. and so what I wanted to say, 4 aspects. The first one is for yourself, for your individual development. The second one is the interaction in the partnership. We will come to that when we have a look at the Bollywood couple. The third is, how is my impact in the group? And group means people up to 16 people. And the fourth is, how is my impact on society? And on society, you can see here with Sadhguru, that's also the impact marketing and leadership, people trust him, and details competence. That is what the collective, the society, associates when they think about Sadhguru, because his design, the frequency of his design is having an impact, and other people can just sense it. Without even knowing it, they know, wow, this guy has got a good reputation. We can trust him, he's got leadership skills, and he really knows what he's talking about. And then there's something what we call the power base. That means he is giving people orientation, direction, the green one. He's a good communicator, the red one. And also his organization is well organized, and he's a very logical person. Yeah. So you can see straight away the makeup from the mind of a person, the mindset that they were given by birth. If they use it or not, that is a second question. But that is their potential. We can see their potential. And just by listening to people, how they are being in communication, you can hear, are they living their design or not? And then you see their actions also. And it gets so beautiful that you just listen to people, and then you know what they might have, for example, for a talent. Yeah? You might know how they can make more money. That's the prosperity profile. Yeah? Sadhguru doesn't need money himself. He just tells people where to put the money. And that's how he's getting money. That's me with Steven, influential. He influences people, and then through that he gets money. Yeah, you will have a look how it's with others. So, and when you know this, then you know this is my operating manual for me to be prosperous in the world. Then let me go for it. Let me fully accept and embrace my design and live my design, and then just see what happens on this journey. And the experience that we have, people who live their design have more awareness, make better choices, and get better results. So that's really fascinating. Yeah. And another thing that you can also see with Sadhguru is we've got one aspect, we call it the life purpose. You can even see the life purpose here. Yeah, you can even see what is challenging them in their life. You can even see karmic aspects when you go deeper into it. Yeah, and here it's about time, the rhythm. Yeah, to keep one's head when equanimity is indicated. Yeah, so I'm sure he's teaching people also to be at peace, to be quiet, not to stress themselves, and not make mistakes when they make choices too fast. So I haven't heard anything from Sadhguru, so I don't really know what he's talking about, but that is what the design shows. Yeah. And that might be part of his teaching. Yeah. And you can see straight away that's his potential. Yeah. And he's also a community man, because the community is very, very important for him. And you can see that what we call the cross, his mission. Is it big enough? Can you see that? Is better?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we can also see what is the mission in life. Yeah. And for him, it's to create a community and to achieve progress in that community. He's a family person. Family can also mean the community, his organization that he has created. Yeah. And that's very important for him. Yeah. And he gives everything for this community. And what that is also saying here, that when a point comes, when he thinks that he can't do anything more in that community, it might be that he leaves and starts something new, because that is also part of his journey in the design. Yeah. So I don't know if you had that in the past already. Yeah, but that's, we can make hypotheses, and then we can see, are they correct or not? Yeah. So that's what you can see with Sadhguru. And let's go to another point. We can see the motivation. Yeah. When you wake up in the morning, most of us, we've got some thoughts in our have a conversation with ourselves. Some people say in our head, but I always say in our head, we've got a brain. So we've got conversations with ourselves when we wake up in the morning. And with the design, you can even see what might be most of the times the first thought that you have in the morning. And with Sadhguru, when it comes to needs, he might ask himself, how can I satisfy the needs of other people? So it's a social motivation that he is concerned about, how can I satisfy needs of other people? And everybody has got such a motivation color, and that might be the first thought that you have when you wake up. And to have all this, you need the best time. Also, the time is important. When you don't have the time, you can also make a design, but it won't be that precise. So you can see he's an explainer. He can explain concepts of spirituality very well. Yeah, he's a negotiator. That means he can do deals with the people in the community. Yeah, and for him, the purpose of life, seeker of sense, is very, very important. So he has got absolutely the design for a guru or for a spiritual leader, let's say it like that. Yeah, and with his business context, yeah, and that's very important, I think, for a lot of you, because most of you are coaches or are therapists and working, and in these challenging times, it might be very, very important for you to get to know, how can I strengthen myself? How can I grow out of this crisis so that I get stronger and I can even improve my business? Yeah, and when you know about your talent, that's the first thing. When you know that, then also the cooperation profile. Should I work alone? Should I work with another person? In communities, in networks, or in an organization? Or am I so free that I can work anywhere? Sadhguru, he can choose where he wants to, how he wants to work, the cooperation profile. He's completely free. And then when you know your talent, your cooperation profile, and also your prosperity mode, and then also how do you appear? How do people sense you? That is your body language. Without even communicating, your body is communicating. And the communication, the non-verbal communication of the body of Sadhguru is, he's a visionary. Yeah, and people sense that. Yeah, and that's the beauty. When we experience that, then we see, wow, we've got like a car. We've got a car, that's the body, and the car has got a driver that belongs to the car. And what we think we are is the passenger sitting in the back seat. And if we let go, thinking that we have to direct the car and tell the driver where the car has to go, and if we just instead sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, then the car will go in the right direction, because the body knows what's best for it. What's the best food? What's the best partnership? What's the best environment? What's the best job where I can unfold my potentials? And because the mind is so conditioned, that is the challenge, that we then make choices that are not good for us. Yeah? And that's where we need to learn just to let go. Because on the one side, we've got with what we were born with, our genetic predisposition, and also an energetic predisposition. So that's new with the design. The energy and the genetic predisposition can be visualized. And then we've got something that comes from culture, our cognitive imprinting, from school, from the parents, from our peer groups. And then we've got the energetic imprinting through the dynamic interaction. But that is just in the moment when we're interacting. So all of this can be visualized with 64 keys. The dynamic between people, we can make predictions how people might feel and interact. They did an experiment where they had 5 people together, and they gave them a worksheet with a work. They had to do something, and they could predict who would be the first who would take the paper, who would be the one who might be the leader in the group of 5 when it comes to find out how can they deal this assignment. They could even predict who is the one who is going then to present the result. Yeah, and they could also predict which one would not be involved in the group, would be more for himself, because they could understand the dynamics in the group. And that's somehow on the one side amazing, but on the other side also spooky, because it means that we are just behaving, we could say, like chemical molecules. When they interact, you know how the reaction is going to be. that's the one thing. But the other thing is that if we accept that we have got a genetic and an energetic predisposition and use it, then there is less resistance in life. If we embrace, if we are in resonance, if we are in love with our design, then ways open up. And that's what we have experienced with a lot of celebrities where the data are on the internet. Yeah, and we can see that. So that's Sadhguru. We could go more in other aspects of Sadhguru, but just let's stay with this. We know the environment. We know he's focused on the transformation in the environment. Yeah, we can even go and have a look. What's he interested in? Yeah, that people collaborate, and aloofness, which ensures one's well-being. That means that people have to somehow distance themselves a bit, to be alone, to meditate, and then to come back, and then to collaborate, to cooperate. So I'm not sure. I don't know if he's teaching that. Yeah, and with this, then is the possibility that you recognize opportunities easier. So it means there are more synchronicities which then show up in your life. Yeah. So that's what he is giving to the world, because that's what he brought into the world, and he seems to be living that when he's created this organization where he is the guru. Yeah. So that's beautiful, and I'm always so. Every design is beautiful. There's no good and no bad. They're just different. Yeah. So
Kwesi, would you like at this point to take their questions maybe? And
yes,
so
if you've got questions, yes, yeah, of course, always questions.